What is up, everybody? I wanted to do another live today for the hell of it since I had some time. Probably not going to be as long as yesterday's. Probably not going to be as popular as yesterday's because I'm not talking Big Brother. I wanted to talk some Love Island with Love Island games starting tonight on Peacock. I thought, why not talk about something I love to talk about along with Love Island, and that's some astrology compatibility. So we're gonna get a little woo woo today. I think it's a fun little thing to talk about. Nothing real serious. So yeah, I am gonna get woo woo today with some woo woo astrology, but it is what it is. Although I am later probably gonna talk about some drama going on with the season 7 cast because that cast always seems to have some drama between them, and frankly, I can't miss another opportunity to drag Taylor. I feel like I have to take it, seeing as he was one of my least favorites from season 7. So, yeah, gonna talk some astrology. We're gonna see how I think some of these players tonight might jive zodiac wise. Now, there were two people whose zodiac signs I could not find because they are from such an obscure Love Island franchise. That being Nicola for the women and Mert for the men. Nicola is from Love Island, Malta, and Mert is from Love Island, Belgium slash Netherlands. And it's funny because I had a comment on my cast assessment video that nobody watched, but Minute Jess said in the comments, "Oh my God, I'm from Netherlands, and I didn't even know that we had a Love Highland here. Sadly, I have to say Dutch people aren't great for reality TV. They're very grounded and can be quite dry. Not to mention, most of them have horrible English accents. Maybe they will prove me wrong, though." Yeah, I don't know if that's a good sign if someone from the Netherlands didn't even know that they have their own Love Island. But yeah, I did find Garby's zodiac sign, who is also from the same franchise. I found it thanks to her Instagram, and turns out she's my favorite sign besides my own. So I think I might like Garby. But yeah, I could not find Mert's zodiac sign nor Nicholas. So we're gonna have to do this little fun exercise without me knowing their sign. Before I begin, I will say for anyone who doesn't know, I am a Pisces. And I know I can hear it now, just like I always see on Twitter or Reddit. The women want to know, why are Pisces men so delusional? They'll say Pisces men are so manipulative. Pisces are liars. Pisces men are so magnetic. Pisces men are so irresistible. I get it. I get it. Dating us isn't for the faint of heart, but it's an experience. And anyway, I will get back to Pisces men when I talk about Isaiah. He is our Pisces on the cast. I talked about it during his own season as well, but we'll talk about it again today because why not? Also, I will just be talking about people's sun sign compatibility today. I know you got to look at the moon signs, you got to look at the Venus signs, even Mercury signs play a part in relationships, but I'm not ready to get that woo woo today. We're going to stick to the basics. We're going to talk about sun signs. Also, before I get started, no personal offense to your signs. I know how people get, but these are still my thoughts. And honestly, I'm not going to drag many signs today. Maybe a couple of them. Maybe. All right, here's the list of the signs that I actually do have. We have Andrea, who's a Leo. Andrina is a Taurus. Garby is a Sagittarius. KK and Celine are both Libras, although Celine is, don't know Nicola's sign. Charlie is a Cancer. So is Kendall, as we all know. Chris is an Aries, Tyreek is an Aries, Isaiah is a Pisces, and Josh is a Virgo. And like I said, I don't know Mert's zodiac sign, unfortunately. So Andrea being a Leo would probably allegedly be most compatible with her fellow fire sign men on the cast, which would be Chris and Tyreek. I guess the problem I see there for that to happen is I don't see either one of those guys as Andrea's type per se, and I always forget how to say her name. Is it Andrea or Andrea? So we're gonna say Andrea. But yeah, judging by her first season, I would not say Chris and Tyreek are her type. I don't know enough about Tyreek. I don't watch the UK version. But if anyone on the cast seems like her physical type from what we saw the first go round, I would actually say it's probably Isaiah, the Pisces. I will get more in detail about Pisces and Leo when we get to Isaiah. That's probably going to be my main topic of the live. Andrina is next, who is a Taurus. So, Earth sign. The only fellow Earth sign on the cast is Josh. And I can see them actually being quite compatible as people. They're more down to earth. They might be boring, but they would be compatible together. Taurus is also pretty compatible with water signs, I would say, which a ton of men on this cast are water signs. And as a fellow water sign, I don't know if that's a good thing for the relationships. It's probably a good thing for drama, though, because Charlie and Kendall are the Cancers, Isaiah's the Pisces. So there's like lots of compatibility options for Andrina here, I would say. I honestly do feel like she is set up to do well this season with connections, looking astrology wise, but also just in general. I don't know how she'll do at challenges, but she's pretty set up good this season on this cast. I will note, of course, like I did in my assessment video, that Tyreek showed interest in her on social media in the past. Not necessarily compatible, though. Taurus and Aries. I mean, I know some Taurus and Aries relationships, so it could be compatible. But like out of anyone, I think she has the pick of the litter for the best possible chemistry this season. And I mean, most guys would not complain about having Andrina in their lives, although I don't want to get into the whole BBL topic again. She says she hasn't had a BBL. She's admitted to having her breasts worked on. But if she's even had work, they did a fine job. Apologies for the sirens. This is why it's hard to do lives. Next up, though, is Garby, who is a Sagittarius. One of my favorite signs. I think she's probably also most compatible with her fellow fire signs, Chris and Tyreek. They're both Aries, as I've already said. I mean, I personally think that Pisces and Sagittarius got chemistry from plenty of experience in my real life. So maybe Isaiah will have that chemistry with her too. I don't know about that for sure, though. I don't know enough about her to know her actual type. So I wish I had seen her season to know more about her. I do think I'll probably like her just because she's a Sagittarius, though. Ashley on Big Brother, which I've been talking about all summer, is my favorite, who also happens to be a Sagittarius. Now, Lucinda is a Scorpio, which, with all the water sign men on this cast, should mean there should be compatibility there for her. Charlie and Kendall, again, the Cancers, Isaiah, the Pisces. Everyone online is saying Lucinda is so boring. And Scorpios are usually anything but boring in relationships, though. That's how I feel about Scorpio women, especially if they're dating fellow water signs. So, well, water signs are compatible. Our asses together can be quite dramatic, but everyone says she's boring, so I don't know what to think. I also don't know her type, but she and Charlie, I think she is Charlie and Isaiah's type. So I can see them wanting to be together is my prediction for Lucinda. Something like Charlie, Isaiah, they seem fitting together. Lucinda and Charlie would probably be the most boring couple on Love Island ever, though. If Lucinda is truly as boring as advertised, then I do believe that that will be a boring couple because Charlie is truly boring. Then we got the two Libras. We got KK, we got Celine. There are no air sign men for them unless Mert is an air sign. I know who won't be compatible with the Libras, though, and that's the Pisces, which we'll get to in a minute. Now, Aries are the opposites of Libras. So Tyreek and Chris should not be compatible in theory. So I think the only hopes for KK and Celine for actual compatibility is maybe the Cancers, maybe Kendall and Charlie, but I don't know. I think they better hope they're compatible with Mert because if not, I see Celine causing a lot of drama and I see KK in another rough relationship. But I hope for her sake that that isn't the case. So to really get into more details, I think it's best for me to really just hone in on Isaiah because I can talk from experience as a fellow Pisces. So I will just give my own personal experience with the women's signs. Isaiah and Andrea would be Pisces and Leo. I dated a Leo once, and while I feel like the signs generally get along, we're not compatible for relationships. I get along with Leos, but Leos need way too much attention. And unless a Pisces is really in love, we can't provide enough attention for what a Leo wants. So, well, I think there's potential there, probably not long term. Although, is Andrea actually even here for a relationship or is she scamming since she supposedly had a relationship not that long ago? I don't know. Isaiah and Andrina are next, the Pisces and the Taurus. I've never had a relationship with a Taurus, and I've been on some dates with Taurus women. I don't think it's that bad. I actually do think compatibility is there with Taurus. I hear this all the time online. I know a Taurus and a Pisces, although it's reverse Taurus woman, a Taurus man, Pisces woman. But I think it can work well. I wouldn't be surprised if Isaiah and Andrina are fine. Now, Isaiah and Garby, Pisces and Sagittarius, Sags are my favorite. Saggies are a great time. They're so funny. I always vibe with them. In my experience, Pisces and Sagittarius have great chemistry, sometimes just as friends, but also sometimes one hell of a spark for a relationship. I do feel like there is compatibility problems in long-term relationship with these signs. You know, we Pisces can be emotional, maybe a little sensitive, and Sagittarius is or also sensitive, but we probably are most so. I don't think Garby's I don't know Garby's type. So I don't know if Isaiah is Garby's type, but I don't think she is Isaiah's type. So well, I don't really think they'll get together. I do predict that they will have chemistry. Isaiah and Lucinda, Pisces and Scorpios. These signs tend to like each other. Scorpios love me, and I really, really get along with Scorpios like all the time. For me, though, it's usually as friends. I've never had a full blown relationship with a Scorpio, but dating one was a nightmare. No offense to Scorpio women out there. Scorpios can be too controlling, paranoid. It's a little too much for me personally, but it's supposedly a crazy connection. And I do know a ton, and I mean a ton of Scorpio Pisces relationships, or at least I have known a ton in my life. So it's definitely a thing. And those two being together would not be a surprise. Now, Isaiah with KK or Celine, Pisces, and Libra, it's a no from me, dog. I get along very well with Libra women. They are some of the most entertaining people I've ever met, actually. But in my youth, had some relationships with Libras, and it was like all in a row too, and they were all the same. So the initial attraction is always there. And Pisces and Libra, I think, do vibe very well. But for a relationship, it's a no. We're both lovers, Pisces and Libras, I see us that way. But like Libras in general, and especially Libra women, are just not good at making decisions. And they don't always know exactly what they want. And so if a Pisces really wants to be in that relationship and the Libra is still having eyes everywhere with on this show, that's the game. That's the name of the game. So it could work out. I don't see it happening for Isaiah and KK or Isaiah and Celine. Although I will say for KK, on her season, she did know exactly what she wanted, unlike a lot of Libras. Her problem was more so who she wanted was very, very toxic. For her, she was all about the relationship. So maybe KK and Isaiah could be the lovers together, but I don't see it. I feel like it's probably similar for the Cancer men, Kendall and Charlie, fellow water sign men. Maybe they'll have the better shot with the Libras, like I said earlier. As for the Aries, Tyreek and Chris should be super compatible with Garby and Andrea. I don't know about them being Andrea's type, like I said. Aries guys tend to have this machismo about them. They love to have it. I feel like it's kind of their shield so that they have to act cooler than they actually are, which in my opinion we've already seen with Chris last season. He tries to act cooler than he actually is. He could be playing basketball right now overseas, but he's not. Water signs, I can see water sign women liking that machismo though, so maybe Lucinda is for them too, but I just don't know these people's types. I will say one thing with this cast. Are they each other's types? I'm kind of struggling to see that. Lastly, I want to try and see who I think the mystery sign people might have compatibility with. It's hard to say. Nicola, from what little previews I've seen about her, she seems to be a goofball. She might be comedy relief this season. I think Cancers would be most okay with the goofball, though I don't think she is at all Kendall and Charlie's types. But maybe more so Charlie than Kendall. Although Kendall's a goofball too, so I mean they could be goofballs together, I guess. Mert is the mystery sign guy. I literally know nothing about him. Who on the cast would want to crack the mystery man? I can see a Sagittarius being game like Garby, but they're from the same show and they probably want to switch it up. So maybe, honestly, maybe Martin and Nicola will just get together as these two very much unknown people. Yeah. Anyway, that's something I wanted to talk about today, just to talk a little astrology for tonight's premiere. I am looking forward to it. I do like the games side of Love Island. But let's move on to some drama because I really want to talk some shit about Taylor like I did all season 7 long. And unfortunately, last time I made a Love Island related video, I unfortunately had to cut Taylor some slack because he had just gotten like smashed up by a horse. So I felt like, oh, I'll go easy on Taylor for once. But because Taylor is so starved for attention and he can feel the fame slowly slipping away, he needs people to talk about him again, I guess. He posted a video yesterday that was supposed to, in my opinion, once again be taking a shot at Nic and Olandria. And I feel like he's trying to take a shot at Nic because they finally had a falling out. Nic should have dropped him a long time ago, but I feel like finally Nic sees the real Taylor that I've felt in my spirit about him all along. The jealousy in general from the rest of the cast, they just can't take it that Nic and Olandria are season 7's it couple. Nic and Olandria have been everywhere. I feel like they're getting even more popular as time moves on from the season. And it's nice for me personally to see chemistry win. Hello, Devonda in the comments is saying, you see Taylor talking mess again, and Clarkin followed Alondra, people making a big deal out of people's followers. Yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about. I will say Olandria never followed Clark from what I know, but we'll get into that. Let's first talk about Taylor's video because in the video he basically titled it that Ace's interview with Speedy was 99.99% the truth. And to recap, in that interview, Ace basically said Nick was faking it with Olandra. And Ace basically tried to say in the interview that production made Taylor lead Olandria on. But if that's the case, let's once again recap that right after the show ended, Ace said that Nick and Olandria were a real deal. And then Taylor went on a lot of interviews with Nick, I might add, and kept saying he did like Olandria and that he wasn't leading her on. So if Taylor is now saying that Ace's interview was this recent interview, although it's not recent anymore, which is how I know Taylor is grasping at stars to stay relevant. Straws. So if Taylor is now saying that Ace's interview was 99% right, then that means Ace is also a liar then who lied in his first interview after the show ended. And it means that Taylor is a big liar because he's lied in multiple interviews since the show ended. Also, Taylor, like I just said, posting this 3 weeks after Ace's interview is a truly pathetic cry for attention. So here is the attention that he wanted. I'm going to make the rest of it short and sweet and talk my shit. The fact is, and I said this last time, Taylor and Ace are now mad at Nick, and it's not because of anything Nick did. It's the jealousy that they were not the it guys this season. And then when Nick got the cowboy like ad, I'm sure that truly drove Taylor nuts. And now it's good to see Nick finally paying Taylor dust because Ace and Taylor showed their asses 3 weeks ago, and now Taylor can't handle it. Like the comments said in the chat, his loser girlfriend Clark did in fact unfollow Olandria, which makes me think it was a Taylor decision because then Taylor came out with that video. I don't know. I guess Taylor is mad that he's in a relationship too, but he has nothing to show for it except Arby's, I guess. Devonda in the chat says, "Yep, especially on Kiki Palmer interview with Nick. Taylor stayed lying. Yep, I like your big nose emoji to show Taylor." I don't know what Taylor's thinking though. The truth is Taylor was never going to be the it person from this season. When the cast first came out, let's all be honest with ourselves. We were looking at the cast and thinking, or at least I was, that one of these things is not like the other. Because I know for sure I was wondering, I was asking, why would they cast Jar Jar Binks on Love Island? That's what I was thinking when I saw Taylor a part of the cast. And as I saw someone on Twitter say, of course, Taylor would be mad that he is stuck at home shoveling horse shit when Nick and Olandria are everywhere being famous, which is exactly what Taylor came on the show for. And it's true because imagine being injured by a horse and then having to shovel its shit. I know Taylor is mad right now. Jar Jar Binks is stuck at home, and Nick and Olandria are getting more famous. Last topic. Gonna let this damn siren pass. Let's talk about Iris and TJ really, really quick before I go because they've like launched the fact that they're back together now, as if anyone cares. But there seems to be enough people online that I guess do cares. But I don't know why Iris doesn't get called out for the scammers she seems to be. I do not see enough people saying this because To me, Iris has been one of the biggest opportunists since the show ended. All of the talk, all season, all postseason about how Olandria and Nick aren't real. But Iris and Pepe were right there. They didn't get even close to the same amount of blowback. A lot of that is a racial element. Some of it might be because nobody cared enough, though. But Iris and Pepe were the fakest couple at the finale, and there was a lot of fake couples there. And I would bet that while Pepe was being a cheater, that Iris might have been too. Because if Iris and TJ, if we're supposed to expect that Iris and TJ are real, then I think they might have been talking while Pepe and Iris were still together. So to me, Pepe and Iris, they stuck together after the show for more clout, only for Pepe to be caught cheating. But yeah, if I'm to buy Iris and TJ, then she might have been talking to TJ the whole time. So it means she was faking it for clout with Pepe because Iris is an opportunist. And frankly, I mean, if TJ and Iris launched themselves as a couple right before Love Island Games season 2 begins, I feel like that is the right time if you're being an opportunist. You know the season of Love Island Games 2 is probably going to be more popular than the first one. And I do think we're starting to see the cast from season 7 panicking that their attention is starting to be erased. A lot of our attention is going to go to the new show. And yeah, I'm going to keep defending Nick and Olandria for the foreseeable future. I like their approach. I like that they are just exploring each other. But I think it proves why friends to lovers actually works because you could actually tell they like each other as people and they actually respect each other, which you put that with the chemistry, it's hard for me to not root for them. So yeah, I'm going to defend them from the noise because clearly people are jealous. And it's especially going to defend them since nobody had the same energy for Iris and Pepe, who were the real scammers. So I'm looking forward to Love Island Games 2 tonight. I will be recapping it. I'm probably going to be harsher than I have been in the past for Love Island. I think Love Island is going to get Big Brother Nick going forward, which means I'm probably going to be a little too harsh, but that's the way it goes. All right. I'll see you all tomorrow.